The most gruesome scene in Saving Private Ryan was almost shot in an entirely different way. As one of the best D-Day movies of all time, Saving Private Ryan remains one of the greatest war movies ever made as well. Although the celebrated Steven Spielberg film was released in 1998, Saving Private Ryan became a streaming hit in 2024 after being released on both Amazon Prime Video and Paramount+. Saving Private Ryan was written by Oscar nominee Robert Rodat, The Patriot, Falling Skies, and won 5 Academy Awards, including Best Director, Best Cinematography, Best Sound, and Best Film Editing. While many of the battle scenes in Saving Private Ryan can be difficult to watch, one infamous scene has been a source of controversy and debate since its inception. During the battle at Rommel towards the end of Saving Private Ryan, several of the key characters are killed by the invading German soldiers, including Private Mellish, portrayed by Adam Goldberg. Corporal Upham, portrayed by Jeremy Davies, hears Mellish struggling for his life against a German soldier. Rather than rushing up the stairs and into the room in a heroic attempt to save his comrade, Upham falls to his knees and cries as Mellish is killed. The original plan for Mellish's death in Saving Private Ryan was very different. Mellish was originally supposed to be shot and killed during the battle. Saving Private Ryan Mellish Adam Goldberg. The painstaking scene in Saving Private Ryan in which Mellish is killed was remarkably invented by Spielberg and his crew on the day of filming. For such an unforgettable and impactful scene, it's truly stunning that it hadn't been planned or even conceived of beforehand. What's more, Spielberg created several other iconic moments in the film on the day of filming. According to the Los Angeles Times, Adam Goldberg revealed, "I was originally just going to be shot in the final battle, when senior military advisor, Captain Dale Dye suggested that I get into a hand-to-hand combat fight, because one of the things I excelled in at boot camp was using the bayonet." It's hard to imagine that the gruesome Saving Private Ryan scene could have been any more visceral and evoking, but Goldberg revealed that there was plenty of Mellish's anguish that was left on the cutting room floor. Goldberg added, "So Steven and I started talking about it, about wanting it to be as realistic as possible. There was a lot more of what you saw in the rough cut. It was so graphic that Steven's projectionist, who projected the dailies in Los Angeles, told him he can't leave the scene in the movie. It's too painful to watch. Remembering back, I think there was a lot more of me screaming how much it hurts." The film would be entirely different if they had stuck to the original plan. Upham's role in Mellish's death was decided on the day of shooting it. Spielberg felt he was the character who was most like the audience. Upham crying in Saving Private Ryan. Upham's role in Mellish's death scene was also decided by Spielberg on the day of production. Jeremy Davies revealed to the Los Angeles Times, "Halfway through the shoot, Steven took me aside and said he'd seen some of the dailies, and that he'd been inspired to start telling Ryan from Upham's POV. He told me that Upham represented the audience more than any other character, given that, of course, most of us will never experience war, and Upham was only trained to serve as an interpreter in non-combat situations." Due to this creative stroke of genius, Upham went from simply being the interpreter to one of the most controversial characters in the film. Upham was not trained for combat situations, which explains his inactivity during the harrowing scene in Saving Private Ryan. While he was often the butt of the joke within the group throughout the story, Upham had proven himself to be a very valuable resource as an interpreter and as a well-intentioned person as well, at one point trying to translate for a French family in distress. Mellish was a likable character throughout Saving Private Ryan, cracking jokes and developing a sense of accessible empathy between himself and the viewers. Because he was well-liked, perhaps more than Upham was by audiences, his death and Upham's lack of intervention can inspire an emotional response. Why Mellish's death is Saving Private Ryan's most harrowing scene. The great acting and use of close-ups make the scene painstakingly tense. Mellish's death scene is one of the most unforgettable and potentially infuriating scenes in Saving Private Ryan because heroism is called upon but not answered. Countless action and war movies set the expectation that the hero will come in to save the day right in the nick of time and alleviate the palpable sense of danger and impending death. Upham subverts these well-established genre expectations, which is equally confusing and frustrating for the conditioned viewer. Instead of finding a clever way to be the hero, as seen in dozens of superhero and Bond films, Upham does nothing. This scene greatly contributes to Saving Private Ryan's gritty realism and authentic portrayal of tragedy and humanity.